Hello and welcome, brothers and sisters of the Machinist Union and our allies in the air movement. This is your weekly 141 report, and I'm your host, Dave Lehive, a communications representative for District Lodge 141. This week, our report takes us to IAM Local 1322, representing the members in the New York area. We'll be speaking with the new president of the local as we talk about his background and the work being done by the membership. All of this and more as our 141 report starts now. Brother Steve, welcome to the 141 report. How you doing?
Doing good, Dave. Thank you.
So, brother, as I always begin a report, please introduce yourself and tell us about how you got started in the airline business, the positions you've held in the Machinist Union, and what you currently hold now.
My name is Steven Jenkins. I am currently the president of Local 1322 here in New York. I started in the airline business about late 1987, 88. I worked for Ogden Allied, which was a contract company, doing wheelchairs and throwing bags at that time, and also doing customer service work. We covered airlines like Lufthansa and Air India, El Al, Pakistan International, some other airlines that may not be around anymore, like Miami International, World Airways, Tower Air, and a whole plethora of different airlines. We did wheelchairs for them and things of that nature. Also, as a ramp guy, working flights in my current status now.
So who do you work for now?
Now I work for United. So I've been around for quite a long time, working for United. Started working for United in 1997. That was so you say about 10 years before that, working in the airline business. So it's a combined number of over 30 years. Also worked for United as a ramp man, started there in 97. Actually, I got hired for customer service for United and was moved from customer service into the ramp by a young lady by the name Roberta Spinoza, and she didn't want me to leave. I had given up. I didn't want to do the job, and she asked me not to leave. And if she put me into the ramp, would I stay? I said yes, and it was a good decision. I've been on the ramp for 25 years. After that. I started, I was pulled into union work by Mike Clem, who was at that time was he was a shop steward, if I remember correctly, or a committee man on the ramp, committee person. He pulled me in, and I was given the position of shop steward, and I also was the recording secretary.
So you went into the local then?
Yes, I went to the local. He pulled me right in. I was actually in the local before I became a shop steward. At that time, he pulled me into the local as the recording secretary. That took over the position from the illustrious Rose Brady Cohen. She was the recording secretary before I was. I held the position of conductor sentinel. For recording secretary for just shy of 10 years. Also, prior to that, I was involved in organizing with the merger of Continental and United at that time. I was part of the organizing crew with Tom Regan and James Jack Carlson, and Edison Frazier, and a couple other guys. We were part of that whole organizing campaign that luckily went our way in.
That was a big campaign.
That was a huge campaign. We were there for quite a few months. To try to, trying to pull that off. Or,
So brother, you got quite a resume there. You've seen a lot, and now you're the new current president. You just became the president when? When did that happen?
Yes, I was sworn in as president of Local 1322 in January, beginning of this January 2022, and it was a position that it came to me as the then president of the local had to step down for personal reasons. I was already the VP, so it was just my natural progression to become the president. Yeah,
that's great. Well, welcome to the position.
Thank you.
All right. So how big is the local, and who do you represent?
Yeah, we have a huge local. Our local encompasses of 550 members, both above and below the wing, from of course United and American Airlines. The coalition between TWU and American. So we have been. I'm sorry, TWU and IAM. So we have part of that membership here. And I'm sorry, the Allied Fueling, we have members from there.
Do you have Southwest by chance?
Southwest also, yes. Thank you, Dave. We also have.
So where is your local at?
We're actually located in South Ozone Park, which is in the backyard of JFK. So
it's an old local, isn't it?
It has been. On a personal note, I practically grew up around the corner from this very building with my aunt. One of my aunts on my mother's side lived around there. So I've been familiar with this place since I was a kid. So yeah,
all right,
absolutely.
So let me ask you, how important is union representation to New Yorkers?
In my humble opinion, absolutely, positively, 100% important.
It's a big union town.
It is, and that being said, medical, having to build a family, being the very union jobs, being the very essence of what we would call the middle class, is very important, and I believe 100% in union representation.
Okay. And let me ask you. Let's move on to the topic of education. How important is it for the union to educate its members?
It's indicative of having a great dialogue between those with boots on the ground and those that represent us in the other part. We're having an education. We're having a shop steward education class going on as I speak to you right now, which is giving us the knowledge and ability that we have to do to deal with management and our workers, and keeping a very good discourse between of where our rights begin and where the company's rights end. If you to say,
like knowledge is power.
Knowledge is definitely power. Yes, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so we have the ability to instruct our representatives, our shop stewards, because they're our front line, and they need to be knowledgeable enough to know how to handle themselves when they handle grievances and whatnot. So good stuff. Do you feel the stewards are getting good information today in the class?
I'm having to say that this is some of the best info that I've seen stewards receive in a very long time. I mean, myself also being, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I disagree. I've been, like I said, I've been with United for 25 years. I've been a steward off and on for a lot. And even today at this meeting, I'm learning stuff that I did not know that we had the ability to exercise as shop stewards, committee persons, and committee chairmen. So it's very informative, and it's definitely a positive. It's a check. That's a good box to check.
Good.
Yeah.
So, brother, you're a powerful local, sits in the backyard of JFK. We've been reaching out to JetBlue ground ops workers to join our union. What would be a key message you would say to those workers to encourage them to sign a card and push for a union vote?
JetBlue is so huge that in the New York area, I have quite a few friends that work for JetBlue, have worked for JetBlue since their inception. And definitely, there's no reason why JetBlue is not up to snuff with the rest of the quote unquote major or legacy airlines. So I would say that union representation for them would be imperative.
The workers are lagging behind everybody else.
And for no other reason than that management and corporate has the ability to do that, to keep you lagging. So yes, we would want you to sign cards because we believe that you should have wage improvements that would bring you up to what we would call industry standard, and protection from being just an employee at will in certain instances where the company can just release you from working for them if they wake up on the wrong side of the bed.
It's a good point, because, working protections, right now we're seeing mergers happening again. Absolutely. Frontier and Spirit are merging, and we have IAM members that are at Spirit, and we have a contract in place which protects those members. JetBlue workers don't have any protection at all. They're non-contract. They should be fearful of their jobs. And the only way to stop that fear is to have a union contract. So they need representation. So some really good points there. Let me ask you something, Brother Steve. Who in the district do you reach out to for specific questions and help?
Specifically, when I have those questions, I reach out to our fantastic AGC, Mike Siscon. Also, our Grand Lodge rep, James Jack Carlson. These guys are, for the lack of the use of a better term, these guys are deep wells of knowledge. Their understanding of contractual language and interpretation and implementation is you couldn't ask for two better people other than going straight to the the president of the district himself, So yeah, absolutely.
So brother, before we finish up the report, I always ask my guests, is there anything that you would comment on or say about the union or a member? Is there anything you want to make mention of?
He's a member of the local still. 1322 is the president of the district, as I just mentioned, President Mike Klim, who I also have the pleasure of being a friend with outside of the job. And something I always say to him is, and he'll know exactly what I'm talking about, is that you're doing a bang up job, young man. And everybody that's involved with you, I'm very proud and of the job that you guys do. And I want you to keep on doing it. Don't stop until you can't do it anymore.
Well, Brother Steve, I appreciate you taking the time to brief the viewers about about your important local. Thank you so much for sitting down with me today and giving me your report.
Absolutely, my pleasure, Dave. Thank you so much.
Well, this wraps up this week's 141 report. Everyone have a safe and healthy weekend. See you next week. Bye for now.